I don't know if this is the most balanced college football season we've seen since 2007, but 8 weeks in, the chaos is real. Every week feels like we're rewriting the playoff picture. And since you're here, let's talk about it. But before we dive into the madness, make sure you're following the page so you get updated every time we drop a new breakdown. Let's get into it. Diego Pavia and the Commodores just keep doing it, taking down number 10 LSU 31-24 for their first win over the Bayou Bengals since 1990. Pavia scored 3 total touchdowns, and Vanderbilt is now 6-1. That's not luck anymore. That's legitimacy. BYU stayed perfect, beating Utah 24-21 in one of the best games of the weekend. Bear Bachmeier threw the game-winning touchdown and sealed the Cougars' third straight win in this rivalry. At 7-0, BYU officially has a ranked win, and they're rolling. Bill Belichick's Tar Heels lost another heartbreaker, this time to Cal. A goal line fumble on what would have been the go-ahead touchdown flipped the game completely. That play sums up UNC's season. Close, frustrating, and full of self-inflicted wounds. Georgia Ole Miss was pure fireworks. Ole Miss led 35-26 heading into the fourth, but Gunnar Stockton, my man, went full video game mode. 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing, and a comeback for the ages. Georgia's still a contender, and that offense looks scary again. Oh no, Mama Bet, it's got to be a mistake. Nah? All right. UAB took down undefeated Memphis 31-24 with 2 forced turnovers and complete clock control. The Blazers just flipped the group of 5 playoff picture upside down. Maybe Memphis was already thinking about USF. Either way, they got caught sleepwalking. The Irish took down USC 34-24 behind a defense that picked off Jaden Ma'ava twice in the second half. That's how you make a statement. Notre Dame's playoff hopes still alive. USC's, they're fading fast. To the Miami fans who said I was hating, who called me clickbait, who swore I was an FSU fan, this one's for you. I told you that upset alert was real. Louisville came to play, and they ended the Hurricanes' perfect run. And before you come for me again, just so you know, I'm actually a diehard Miami fan. I just watch college football a little closer than you do. That Bama defense came to play, forcing a safety and a pick 6 before halftime to crush Tennessee's early momentum. Ty Simpson closed it out late with a clutch drive. Alabama's been getting hot at the right time, and the Tide are officially back in the front of the pack. Let me frame this for you. 10.5 sacks in 8 games. That's elite production. David Bailey has been terrorizing quarterbacks all season, and his 2-sack game against Arizona State just confirmed that he's one of the best defensive players in the country. The Sun Devils pulled off one of the biggest surprises of Week 8, taking down number 7 Texas Tech 26-22. Sam Levitt returned from injury and led a 75-yard game-winning drive with under a minute to play. ASU's season just got a whole lot more interesting. We've arrived at the midseason crossroads, where the calendar flips and the pressure hits. This week, I'm diving into 3 teams that aren't just waiting for help. They still control their own destiny. Win, and they're in the driver's seat. Lose, and the nightmare gets real. Let's kick it off. First up, Georgia coming off handing Ole Miss's first loss. This one is easy to frame. 1 loss, but still standing at the entrance of the SEC gauntlet with the keys in hand. Their defense is still elite. Their quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, has started to settle in, and you can feel the hum of this machine coming alive again. They've already taken a hit. That 1 loss does sting, but the schedule gives them an opening. The next few weeks, they have Texas at home, which could be tricky, and they wrap it up with Georgia Tech on the road. If Georgia goes undefeated the rest of the way and Texas A&M slips, boom, the SEC crown is in play, a playoff berth, and their legacy is intact. If not, they still have an 11-1 SEC resume, so they control it. They just have to get it done. Next, Notre Dame. They're coming off a win they had to have against USC. 2 losses have already knocked the air out of the undefeated worship, but that doesn't mean their season is over. It's far from it. The thing is, their finish is relatively favorable, and the brand still carries a lot of weight. They've got a balanced offense led by C.J. Carr and a top 10 offense in points per game. Their key games ahead, Navy at home and on the road against Pitt. That one could be tricky. So here's the truth. If Notre Dame wins out, especially convincingly, they slide back into the playoff conversation because those early two losses, they don't sting as much when both teams are sitting in the top 10. They control their destiny, but one more slip and it's over. But continue to stack wins and they're dangerous again. Let's wrap this up with Miami. You can already feel the urgency here. They got humbled at home by Louisville. Carson Beck threw 4 interceptions, and that 10-game home win streak, it bit the dust. But guess what? Their hopes aren't dead. They're on life support, but they still can decide how this turns out. Ahead, on the road at SMU, home versus NC State, and they wrap up the season against Pitt in a game that could decide who makes the conference championship. Here's the deal. Run the table, upset someone big, and they're back in the ACC title game conversation. And from there, a playoff berth is on the table. But if you lose one more, the season pivots from contender to what if for the 20th time in 2 decades. They control it, but the margin is thin. So there it is. Georgia, Notre Dame, Miami, each holding the reins on their own futures. And that's what makes college football special. Legacies, reputations, potential champions, all made in October and November when the margin of error vanishes. Who's your make or break team this week? Drop it in the comments and let's get this debate going.